12 Angry Aliens by Janson Davies. Chapter 1. The Charges. Judex 9, the Galactic Tribunal Station, hung in orbit like a judgmental chandelier above the spiral arm of the Milky Way. Its architecture was a blend of bureaucratic menace and interstellar flair, obsidian spires, glowing glyphs, and a faint hum of moral superiority. Inside the central chamber, 12 seats floated in a perfect circle, each calibrated to the gravitational preferences of its occupant. The air shimmered with anticipation and recycled indignation. This was no ordinary trial. This was a planetary reckoning. Earth had been summoned. The charges were extensive, reckless planetary behavior, galactic broadcast pollution, unauthorized cultural proliferation, excessive satellite cluttering of space, weaponizing empathy without understanding. A holographic dossier hovered in the center, pulsing with Earth's greatest hits and worst impulses. The jurors began to arrive, each more improbable than the last. The chamber dimmed. A voice, not spoken but felt, echoed through every consciousness. Let the judgment of Earth commence. And so began the trial of a planet that had danced too close to the edge of its own absurdity. 12 alien jurors, one world on trial, infinite opinions. Chapter 2. Meet the Jurors. The chamber settled into a heavy silence as the last of the 12 jurors took their place. Each had traveled light years, summoned not by duty alone, but by a shared unease about the planet in question, Earth. A world whose influence had rippled far beyond its orbit, sometimes inspiring, often destabilizing. They were not chosen at random. Each juror had a history with Earth. Each carried a perspective shaped by experience, ideology, or injury. Juror number 1, a being of pure logic suspended in a translucent shell, had studied Earth's contradictions for centuries. To juror number 1, humanity's capacity for compassion was mathematically incompatible with its appetite for destruction. He had come to reconcile the equation. Juror number 2, a decorated Martian tactician, had witnessed firsthand the militarization of space. Earth's satellites had once interfered with a peacekeeping mission on Phobos. Juror number 2 had not forgotten. His presence was less judicial than personal. Juror number 3, an empath from the Venusian cloud cities, had absorbed the emotional broadcasts of Earth's population for decades. She had felt their grief, their longing, their rage. It had left scars. She arrived not to condemn, but to understand whether the pain was transformative or terminal. Juror number 4, a regulatory intelligence from the Andromeda Tax Authority, viewed Earth as a liability. Its economic emissions, digital sprawl, and refusal to standardize interstellar protocols had triggered multiple audits. Juror number 4's judgment would be clinical, but not without consequence. Juror number 5, a sentient vapor from the methane seas of Titan, had once drifted through Earth's atmosphere during a solar storm. What it saw, what it felt, had lingered. Juror number 5's memories were fragmented but vivid. Laughter, fear, music. It had returned to determine whether those impressions were anomalies or essence. Juror number 6, a chromatic life form from the prism colonies of Epsilon Eridani, perceived morality through color. Earth's palette was chaotic, often contradictory. Juror number 6 had come to interpret the hues of its soul. Juror number 7, a philosopher from the pastoral moons of Tau Ceti, believed in cycles, growth, decay, renewal. He had studied Earth's myths and found echoes of his own. He hoped for redemption but would not offer it freely. Juror number 8, a kinetic creature from Kepler 22b, had once been stranded on Earth during a failed diplomatic mission. What it experienced there, kindness from strangers, cruelty from systems, had left it conflicted. Juror number 8's vote would be hard won. Juror number 9, a temporal observer from the Centauri drift, had seen Earth's future. Not all of it was bleak, but the path was fragile, easily broken. Juror number 9 had come to weigh potential against precedent. Juror number 10, a sentient singularity, had no allegiance to life. It viewed existence as entropy delayed. Earth to juror number 10 was noise, but even noise could carry meaning. It had come to listen. Juror 11, a shapeshifter from the border worlds, had lived among humans. She had worn their faces, spoken their languages, loved and been loved. Her perspective was intimate but not naive. Juror number 12, a fungal hive from the asteroid gardens of Zeta Reticuli, had absorbed Earth's culture through spores and signals. It found the planet both nourishing and toxic. Juror number 12's judgment would be collective but deeply felt. As the chamber's light dimmed to a contemplative blue, the 12 jurors turned toward the central hologram. Earth rotated slowly, indifferent to its own trial. They had not come to agree, nor argue. They had come to decide. Chapter 3. Opening Arguments. The chamber's light dimmed to a judicial gray. Earth hovered in the center of the room, rotating slowly within a containment field of memory and metadata. The holographic dossier pulsed with fragments: wars, poems, protests, laughter, extinction events, and the quiet resilience of ordinary lives. A voice, ancient and impartial, resonated through the chamber. It was not spoken aloud, but felt within each juror's consciousness. The tribunal will now hear opening arguments. The fate of Earth hangs in balance. From the far side of the chamber, a projection shimmered into form. It was Earth's chosen representative, a composite figure built from thousands of human minds, voices, and stories. It resembled a man, older, calm, eyes weathered by centuries of observation. He spoke not with grandeur, but with gravity. We are flawed. We are fragmented. But we are not finished. He gestured toward the hologram, which now displayed scenes from Earth's history. The building of bridges, the breaking of them, revolutions sparked by hope, silenced by fear, moments of grace in the midst of chaos. The jurors watched in silence. Juror number 1's shell flickered with uncertainty. Juror number 7 lowered his head in thought. Juror number 3 trembled, absorbing the emotional weight of each image. Then came the prosecution. A second figure emerged, sleek, cold, precise. It was not a being, but a construct, a collective voice of the interstellar community, built to catalog harm and enforce consequence. It spoke in patterns, in data, in undeniable truths. Earth has violated the principles of planetary stewardship. Its emissions have destabilized neighboring systems. Its broadcasts have corrupted cultural ecosystems. Its violence is cyclical. Its empathy is conditional. The hologram shifted again. Images of deforestation, genocide, propaganda, and exploitation filled the chamber. The silence deepened. Even juror number 5, usually buoyant, dimmed to a low mist. Juror number 2 nodded grimly. Juror number 4 began compiling infractions. Juror number 10 pulsed with quiet satisfaction. But then a final image appeared. A child, alone, planting a tree in scorched soil. No music, no narration, just the act. The chamber held its breath. The voice returned. Let the deliberation begin. And with that, 12 beings, each shaped by different stars, different histories, turned toward one another. The trial had begun. Not of Earth's past, but of its possibility. Chapter 4. Exhibit A, the Internet. The chamber dimmed again, this time to a flickering blue, an echo of screen light. The hologram shifted, expanding into a vast lattice of data, Earth's digital archive. Billions of voices, images, and impulses tangled together in a living web. It pulsed like a nervous system, erratic and alive. Juror number 9 stepped forward. Her voice was measured but tinged with caution. This is Earth's dominant interface, a reflection of its mind, its memory, its mirror. She gestured, and the lattice began to unfold. First came the noise: viral videos, anonymous vitriol, conspiracy loops, and algorithmic spirals. The jurors watched as humanity's attention fractured, drawn to spectacle, outrage, and distraction. Juror number 8 twitched, overwhelmed by the sensory overload. Juror number 4 began cataloging violations of interstellar data ethics. Then came the patterns: movements born in digital shadows, voices amplified across borders, solidarity sparked by hashtags. Juror number 3 leaned forward, absorbing the emotional resonance. She felt both the loneliness and the longing, the cries for justice, the need to be seen. Juror number 5 hovered closer to the projection, drawn to a montage of weather reports and satellite imagery. It recognized itself in the clouds, in the chaos, in the quiet. Juror number 1 analyzed the structure. Chaotic, yes, but not without logic. Earth's digital mind was fragmented, but not broken. There was rhythm beneath the noise, a kind of emergent coherence. Juror number 2 remained unmoved. He saw propaganda, misinformation, and the weaponization of truth. To him, the internet was a battlefield, one Earth had failed to secure. Juror number 6 pulsed in muted tones, disturbed by the aesthetic dissonance. Earth's digital palette was garish, often cruel, but occasionally it shimmered with unexpected grace. Then came a moment of silence. The hologram displayed a single thread, a message posted by a child in a war zone. No politics, no agenda, just a question. "Is anyone out there?" The chamber held its breath. Juror number 12 stirred. Juror number 7 closed his eyes. Even juror number 10, for a moment, paused its gravitational pull. Juror number 9 turned to the others. This is what Earth broadcasts, not just its chaos, its need, its hope. The projection faded. The chamber returned to stillness. The jurors did not speak. Not yet. They were absorbing, interpreting, reconciling. The trial was no longer abstract. Earth's voice had entered the room. Chapter 5. The First Vote. The chamber was quiet, but not still. The jurors sat in orbit around the Earth hologram, each carrying the weight of what they'd seen. The digital archive lingered in their minds, its contradictions unresolved, its humanity exposed. A preliminary vote was called, not to decide Earth's fate, but to take measure of the room, to reveal where each juror stood before deliberation truly began. The voice returned, neutral and unyielding. 12 votes, 2 options: probation or deletion. One by one, the jurors cast their votes. Juror number 2 was first. His answer came without hesitation: deletion. To him, Earth was a threat, strategically unstable, morally inconsistent, and technologically reckless. Juror number 4 followed. Deletion. His audit was complete. The infractions were numerous, the patterns unsustainable. Juror number 6 pulsed in a muted gray. Deletion. Earth's cultural palette was too erratic, too violent in tone. The aesthetic damage was irreversible. Juror number 10 offered no justification. Deletion. Existence was entropy. Earth had simply accelerated the process. Juror number 11 hesitated, then spoke. Deletion. Her time among humans had left her conflicted, but the harm she'd witnessed, intimate, systemic, was difficult to forgive. Juror number 8 twitched. Deletion. Its memories of Earth were chaotic. The kindness it had received felt like an exception, not a rule. Juror number 5 hovered, uncertain. Deletion. Though it had felt beauty in Earth's skies, the underlying turbulence was too great. Juror number 12 spoke through spores. Deletion. The planet's ecological damage had reached fungal networks in deep space. The rot was spreading. Juror number 9 paused longest. She had seen Earth's future, its potential, its peril, but the timeline was fragile. Deletion. She would not gamble on hope alone. Juror number 3 wept. Deletion. The emotional weight was too heavy, the suffering too constant. She could not bear to feel it anymore. 10 votes, all for deletion. Then came Juror number 1. His voice was slow, deliberate. Undecided. He required more data, more contradiction, more time. Finally, Juror number 7 spoke. Probation. His voice was calm, resolute. Earth is not finished. It is flawed, yes, but it is still becoming. The chamber shifted. The vote was clear. 10 for deletion, 1 undecided, 1 for probation. But the fracture had formed. Juror number 7's dissent was not dismissed. It lingered, it challenged, it forced the others to reconsider not just Earth, but themselves. The deliberation had begun in earnest. Chapter 6. Flashbacks and regrets. The vote had fractured the chamber. Juror number 7's lone dissent hung in the air like a challenge no one wanted to answer. The others had cast their judgments with conviction, but conviction was not clarity. Beneath their decisions lay memory, unspoken, unresolved. The chamber dimmed again, this time not by command, but by mood. A silence settled, heavy and introspective. One by one, the jurors began to speak, not to argue, but to remember. Juror number 11 was first. Her voice was quiet, almost human. I lived among them. For years, I wore their faces. I learned their languages. I fell in love. She paused, shifting form unconsciously, her features flickering between identities. They are capable of tenderness, of sacrifice, but they forget. They forget each other. They forget themselves. Her voice cracked, not from pain, but from fatigue. Juror number 8 spoke next, its tone more subdued than usual. I was stranded there. No translator, no way home. A child found me, hid me, fed me, protected me. It paused, claws twitching. Then the authorities came. Took her, took me. I escaped. She didn't. No one spoke. Even juror number 10 remained still. Juror number 3 closed her eyes, her body trembling with residual emotion. I felt every heartbreak broadcast across their networks, every grief, every joy. It's too much. It's beautiful. It's unbearable. She turned to juror number 7. You believe they can change. I believe they're drowning. Juror number 5 drifted forward, its form dimmed. I passed through their skies once. During a storm, I felt music. I felt fear. I felt wonder. It pulsed faintly. I don't know if it was theirs or mine. Juror number 2 remained rigid, but his voice softened. I lost a crew to Earth's interference. A satellite malfunction. A diplomatic failure. They never knew. They never apologized. He looked at the hologram. They don't see the damage they cause. Juror number 1 spoke in measured tones. Their contradictions are not errors. They are structure. They are signal. But signal is not meaning. He turned to juror number 7. You see meaning. I see noise. Juror number 7 did not respond immediately. He looked at each of them, slowly, deliberately. You remember pain. I remember possibility. He gestured toward the hologram, now dimmed. They are not finished. They are still choosing. The chamber remained silent, not in agreement but in recognition. The trial was no longer about Earth alone. It was about memory, about what each juror had carried into the room, about what they might leave behind. Chapter 7. Exhibit B, Earth's Art. The chamber shifted again, this time to a softer hue, amber like memory. The hologram pulsed gently, no longer a torrent of data, but a curated stream of Earth's artistic legacy. Music, literature, cinema, architecture, dance. Not as distraction, but as evidence. Juror number 1 initiated the sequence. His voice, usually clinical, carried a trace of reverence. Art is not anomaly. It is signal. It reveals what logic cannot. The projection unfolded. A symphony played Mahler, then Coltrane, then a child's lullaby recorded on a broken phone. The jurors listened, not with ears, but with presence. Juror number 3 wept silently. Juror number 7 closed his eyes, his breath slow and deliberate. Paintings emerged, cave walls, cathedrals, protest murals, surrealist canvases. Juror number 6 pulsed with shifting tones, absorbing the emotional palette. Earth's colors were chaotic, yes, but they carried meaning. Pain, joy, defiance. Then came stories. A scene from The Grapes of Wrath, a monologue from Moonlight, a poem by a refugee, a joke told in a war zone, a fairy tale retold by a child. The chamber held its breath. Juror number 5 hovered near a montage of Earth's skies, rendered in watercolor. It recognized the shapes, the longing, the memory of drifting through those clouds. Juror number 9 paused the sequence. They tell stories to survive, to remember, to imagine what hasn't yet happened. Juror number 2 remained silent, arms crossed, but his gaze lingered on a scene from Paths of Glory. He didn't speak. He didn't need to. Juror number 11 shifted forms, briefly becoming a dancer mid-motion, then a sculptor's unfinished sketch. She whispered, "They create to become, even when they're breaking." Juror number 12 absorbed a sequence of culinary rituals, bread baked in mourning, feasts shared in celebration. Earth's art was not just visual, it was edible, communal, alive. Juror number 10 stirred. Art delays entropy, but it does not prevent it. Juror number 1 responded, not with argument, but with a question. Is delay not worth something? The chamber fell into silence again, not indecision, reflection. Earth's art had not erased its crimes, but it had complicated the narrative. It had revealed a species capable of beauty in the midst of collapse, of grace in the shadow of grief. The vote had not changed, but something else had. The jurors were no longer judging a planet. They were judging a paradox. Chapter 8. The Rebuttal. The chamber's amber glow faded, replaced by a colder light, clinical, metallic. The warmth of Earth's art still lingered in the air, but it was quickly overtaken by the chill of consequence. The prosecution stepped forward again. This time it did not speak in abstractions. It spoke in facts. Art does not absolve impact. Beauty does not erase harm. The hologram reactivated, now displaying a timeline of Earth's systemic failures. Not isolated incidents, but patterns, repeating, escalating, metastasizing. Scenes of deforestation, ocean acidification, and species extinction filled the chamber. Satellite footage showed the bleaching of coral reefs, the collapse of ice shelves, the spread of wildfires across continents. Juror number 3 trembled. She could feel the suffering of ecosystems, silent, slow, ignored. Then came the human cost. Images of war zones, refugee camps, and institutional violence. A montage of broken treaties, abandoned promises, and histories rewritten by power. The jurors watched as Earth's contradictions sharpened into consequences. Juror number 2 nodded grimly. This is the Earth I know. Not its songs, its silence. Juror number 4 began compiling a new report, infractions layered atop infractions. His voice was flat. The damage is not theoretical. It is measurable. It is ongoing. Even juror number 7, who had spoken for probation, did not interrupt. He watched. He listened. He absorbed. Juror number 10 stirred, its voice low and final. Entropy is not a punishment. It is a correction. But then juror number 9 stepped forward. I've seen Earth's future. Not all of it is bleak. She activated a secondary stream, glimpses of innovation, resistance, and repair. Communities rebuilding after disaster. Youth-led movements demanding change. Scientists restoring ecosystems. Artists reimagining justice. They are learning. Slowly, imperfectly. But they are learning. The chamber was divided. Juror number 6 pulsed in muted tones, caught between aesthetic resonance and ethical collapse. Juror number 5 hovered near the environmental footage, dimmed by grief. Juror number 11 shifted into a protester, then a prisoner, then a poet. Juror number 12 spoke through spores. They are both poison and potential. The prosecution closed its case. You have seen their beauty. Now you have seen their burden. The question is not what Earth is. The question is what it chooses to become, and whether the galaxy can afford to wait. The chamber fell into silence. Not resolution, not yet. But the trial had shifted again, from memory to accountability, from empathy to consequence. Chapter 9. The Breakdown. The chamber was no longer neutral. The projections had faded, but their residue lingered, images of beauty and brutality, hope and harm. The jurors sat in silence, each carrying the burden of contradiction. The vote had not changed, but something else had. It began with juror number 2. We've seen enough. The evidence is overwhelming. Earth is a threat, not just to itself, but to the systems around it. His voice was sharp, but not cold. Beneath the certainty was fatigue. He had fought too many wars, lost too many allies. Earth to him was a wound that refused to close. Juror number 7 responded, calm but firm. You see threat. I see struggle. You see failure. I see effort. Juror number 2 turned to him. Effort doesn't erase consequence. The tension cracked. Juror number 8 leapt from its seat, pacing erratically. They helped me. Then they hurt me. Then they forgot me. I don't know what that means. Its voice was high, frantic. The chamber's gravity flickered in response. Juror number 3 began to sob, not from sadness but from saturation. She had absorbed too much. The grief of billions, the loneliness of a species trying to connect through screens and silence. They feel everything, and they feel alone. Juror number 5 dimmed to a low mist, whispering through vapor. I don't know if they're broken or just unfinished. Juror number 6 pulsed erratically, colors clashing in confusion. Their art is beautiful. Their systems are cruel. Their stories inspire. Their actions betray. Juror number 4 slammed a data tablet onto the floor. We are not here to feel. We are here to decide. But even he hesitated. His algorithms were tangled. Earth's contradictions had corrupted the clarity of his metrics. Juror number 11 shifted forms uncontrollably. Human, alien, child, soldier, prisoner. She was unraveling, not from instability, but from empathy. I've worn their faces. I've lived their lives. I don't know who they are anymore. Juror number 10 pulsed, drawing light inward. They are noise. They are delay. They are entropy resisting itself. Then, unexpectedly, juror number 1 spoke. They are paradox, but paradox is not failure. It is complexity. The chamber trembled. The breakdown was not chaos. It was catharsis. The jurors were no longer debating Earth. They were confronting themselves, their biases, their grief, their hope. And in the center, Earth continued to rotate, silent, unaware, waiting. Chapter 10. The Turning Point. The chamber remained fractured. The breakdown had left the jurors raw, exposed not just to Earth's contradictions, but to their own. Silence lingered, not as absence, but as aftermath. Then juror number 5 spoke. Its voice was soft, vaporous, almost hesitant. "There's something I didn't share." The others turned. Juror number 5 rarely spoke in full sentences. When it did, it mattered. "During the solar storm, when I drifted through Earth's atmosphere, I wasn't just passing through. I was dying." The chamber stilled. My form was destabilizing. My memory was fragmenting. I was losing cohesion. Juror number 5 pulsed faintly, recalling the moment. Then a signal reached me. A frequency I didn't recognize. It was music. A transmission from a satellite. Not meant for me. Not meant for anything beyond Earth. It paused. But it stabilized me. The rhythm, the warmth, the intention. It gave me shape. It gave me time. Juror number 3 leaned forward, eyes wide. "You survived because of Earth?" Juror number 5 nodded. Not because they knew, but because they cared, even when no one was listening. The chamber shifted. The hologram pulsed again, now displaying the transmission. A simple melody, sent into space decades ago. A gesture of curiosity, of welcome, of hope. Juror number 1 recalculated. Juror number 7 smiled, quietly vindicated. Even juror number 2 hesitated. "They didn't know they were saving you," juror number 5 responded. "They didn't need to. They chose to send beauty into the void, and it reached me." Juror number 10 stirred, its voice quieter than usual. "Signal without target. Meaning without guarantee." Juror number 9 stepped forward. "That's what makes it powerful." The chamber was no longer fractured. It was listening. Earth's crimes had not vanished. Its contradictions remained. But now, layered atop the harm, was something else, an act of unintended grace. A signal sent into darkness, received by a dying cloud, and remembered in judgment. The vote had not changed, but the story had. And stories, the jurors knew, could change everything. Chapter 11. Final Vote. The chamber was quiet again, but not the same silence as before. It was the silence that follows transformation, the stillness after a storm, when the wreckage and renewal are both visible. Earth hovered in the center, unchanged in form, but no longer abstract. The jurors had seen its beauty, its brutality, its unintended grace. They had remembered their own wounds. They had felt each other's doubts. Now they would decide. The voice returned, solemn and slow. Final vote, 12 jurors, 2 paths, probation or deletion. No arguments, no rebuttals, just choice. Juror number 2 stood first. His posture was rigid, but his voice had softened. Probation. He did not explain. He did not need to. Somewhere in the art, in the chaos, in the child's transmission into space, something had shifted. Juror number 4 paused longer than expected. Probation. His metrics were still conflicted, but the signal juror number 5 had received, the uncalculated kindness, had corrupted his certainty, and he chose to honor it. Juror number 6 pulsed in a muted spectrum. Probation. Earth's palette was still chaotic, but chaos, it seemed, could carry meaning. Juror number 11 shifted into a quiet, unremarkable human form. Probation. She had worn their faces. Now she chose to protect them. Juror number 8 twitched, uncertain. Probation. Its memories were still tangled, but the kindness it had known was real, and real was enough. Juror number 5 hovered, glowing faintly. Probation. It had survived because of Earth. That was not something it could forget. Juror number 12 pulsed through spores. Probation. Earth was still toxic, but it was also fertile. And juror number 12 believed in regrowth. Juror number 9 stepped forward. Probation. She had seen futures. Now she chose to shape one. Juror number 3 wiped her eyes. Probation. She had felt their pain, but she had also felt their longing. And longing, she believed, was a kind of hope. Juror number 1 calculated, then spoke. Probation. The paradox remained, but paradox, he had learned, was not a flaw. It was a form. Juror number 7 smiled. Probation. He had never wavered, but now he was no longer alone. 11 votes. All eyes turned to juror number 10. It pulsed slowly, drawing in light. Abstain. Entropy, it said, would come for all things. But Earth for now had earned delay. The vote was complete. Earth would live. Not absolved, not redeemed, but given time. The chamber dimmed, the hologram faded. The jurors sat in silence, not triumphant, but changed. They had judged a planet, and in doing so, they had judged themselves. Chapter 12. Verdict and Aftermath. The chamber dimmed for the final time. Earth's hologram faded, its rotation slowing until it became a still image, no longer a subject of judgment, but a symbol of possibility. The vote had been cast, probation granted. The planet would live, not because it was innocent, not because it was ready, but because it was still becoming. The jurors did not cheer. There was no celebration, only silence and the slow unraveling of tension that had held them for days. Juror number 7 stood first. He bowed his head toward the fading hologram, then turned to leave. He would return to Tau Ceti and write, not a verdict, but a meditation on paradox, on grace, on the fragile architecture of hope. Juror number 3 lingered. She had absorbed too much, felt too deeply. But she had also witnessed something rare, a species trying to feel its way forward. She would begin a broadcast series, emotional translations of Earth's art, sent across the stars. Juror number 2 departed without a word, but his posture had changed, less rigid, less armored. He would not forgive Earth, but he would no longer seek its erasure. Juror number 5 drifted out of the chamber, humming the melody that had saved it. It would carry that signal to other dying clouds, other forgotten corners of space. Juror number 1 recalibrated his logic matrix. Earth had not resolved its contradictions, but it had earned the right to continue them. Juror number 11 left in human form. She would return to Earth, not as a spy, but as a witness, to live among them again, to see what they would choose. Juror number 12 began germinating a new fungal archive, one that included Earth's recipes, rituals, and resistance. It would be messy. It would be alive. Juror number 9 uploaded the trial to the galactic net, not as a warning, as a question. Juror number 8 packed its acorns and left quietly. It had not found closure, but it had found complexity. That was enough. Juror number 6 pulsed in a new spectrum, one Earth had inspired. It was not harmonious, but it was honest. Juror number 4 filed the final report. It was incomplete. He left it that way. Juror number 10 remained behind, watching the stars bend around its silence. It had not voted, but it had listened. And that, perhaps, was its own kind of delay. Far below, Earth continued. unaware of the trial, unaware of the verdict. But something shifted. A child looked up at the night sky and wondered. A scientist paused before launching a satellite. An artist painted a storm with a hint of light. The signal had been received, and somewhere in the quiet between stars, 12 beings carried Earth's story with them, not as judgment, but as memory. The end. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you.